So let me show you. Right. So as part of like since you have opted for like Selenium and manual combo course, so as part of this session, we would be talking about like couple of things, guys. So first, we'll start off with like manual testing, and then we'll move on with core Java and then Selenium. So overall, this course lasts for around like 50 to like 55 days. So each day it will be on 1 hour for each day. So first we will start off with manual testing. So it goes on for around like 10 days. Okay. So we would be learning about the manual testing concept first. It would be around 8 to 10 days. Okay. So I'm putting like 10 buffer days. It will go on for 8 to 10 days. Then we will start off with core Java. Right. Then we'll start off with core Java. So this will go on for like 25 to 30 days. Okay. And then we'll start off with Selenium. So this will be like around 18 to 20 days. So overall our course will go on for around 50 to like 55 days. It might be 60 days also. And again, it depends upon like our question hours, uh, the way we proceed. Okay. So this is all about our course content here. Like uh, by the end of this course, right? So by the end of the course, what are the things you are going to learn means, so you will get, so since you have opted for this course, by the end of the course you will get like exposure on software testing background. Like you will try to understand what exactly is mean by manual testing. So why do we require manual testing? Why do have as a tester, why we need to do manual testing? So that is one thing. And apart from that, you would be learning one of the computer languages, which is like Java, and the one automation tool, which is Selenium. So why do we need a language here means, Selenium is an automation tool which always requires one of the programming language. So Selenium is basically an automation tool. It always requires one of the programming languages in order to automate, in order to do the automation operations. So for that, we have designed our like courses in such a way that we need to cover the core Java concepts as well, right? So that is one thing. So you will get exposure on these three things. And also, so once you finish off with this course, you can start working on the automation script development and execution, right? So since you can start your career as an automation tester, so since as an automation tester, our day-to-day responsibility is to start developing the automation scripts and start executing the automation scripts. And even you can develop a Selenium framework also. You can develop a here, as part of our course we would be learning like Selenium as well. So you would be able to develop a Selenium framework as well. And also you can do two things here. You can start creating your own framework and start developing your applications. That is one thing. And the second point is, so if you enter into in any of the organization, so there will be always for suppose there is already existing framework using in their organization. So all you have to do here is just understand the framework. So since you have like, you will be having like the background on all of these tools like Selenium, core Java, since you would be learning some of the framework concepts already. So it would be easy for you to understand their framework and start working on them, start working on it, and maintain maintenance of it by yourself. So you will get these things by the end of this course. Okay. So, and one more thing. So these are the topics we would be covering, guys. Okay. So as I told you, we'll start off with manual testing first. So if you see here, so these are the concepts we would be learning about the manual testing. So it will go on for around like 10 to 12 days. So let me show it to one of my previous batches. Okay. Yeah, this would be better. So here, if you see, like manual testing went on for around 9 days, right? Then I have started off with core Java. It went on for around 28 days. And then we'll start off with Selenium. So we'll learn framework as well as part of Selenium. It went on for 19 days. So overall, it would be like around 50 to 55 days of trainings. Okay. So any questions, guys, so far? Any questions from anyone?
In core Java, what you will teach? Like just the programmings?
Yes. So as part of core Java, so let me show you. Yes. So guys, said as I told you, let me try to reiterate that particular thing. So Selenium is basically an automation tool which always Selenium is an automation tool which always need one of the programming language, right? So which always need a programming language to automate the web application. Even if you see, if you attend an interview, even if you attend an interview after 3 years of experience in software automation testing also, if they ask you like 20 questions, so 10 will be on the programming language and 10 will be on like the automation tool itself. So that would be the importance of core Java. So that is the reason core Java is very important. And as part of core Java, so what would we would be learning is initially we would be starting off with like the basics of Java, like types of applications that would be built based on Java, and then we'll start off with features of Java. And on day two, we would be like discussing about how we can set up Java in our systems, how to set the path, and we'll start off with basic hello world program. And then we'll talk about data types. Like there are uh, some concepts like variables, data types, and typecasting. Then we'll talk about operators. So these, from here the actual coding starts, like from operators. Yes, here I would be showing you the programming right from the scratch, right from the scratch. So I will be uh, writing the program in Eclipse. So I will screen share just like this one. I will write one by one line in Eclipse, and I will show you the programs as well. So operators, looping statements, and methods, constructors, and then the OOPS concepts. So this is nothing but the OOPS concepts. There are four concepts of OOPS: inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. And then we'll discuss about access modifiers and also the exception handling. So by covering these things, so every concept is internally related to like the programming. So we'll be discussing each and every program with respect to every concept, guys. So even if you don't know one line of programming at this certain point of time, so you doesn't have to bother. You would be learning the programming when we actually start the core Java. So that assurance, like I can provide you. So if you have any fear of programming, or if you don't know anything about programming, that is completely fine, because Here we would be learning everything right from the scratch. You can see like we would be starting off with the basic Hello World program. This is with respect to core Java. So any more questions from anyone?
And in Selenium, which framework are you going to teach?
Yes, in Selenium we would be talking about like the, so here we would be covering like uh, Maven project, and in Selenium we would be covering TestNG, uh, BDD framework. So TestNG framework we would be talking about, and we would be using like BDD and test data driven also. So the good thing about this like topics designing is, so I have included like the framework here, so which is really important because so framework is something, a kind of ready-made architecture where we really pitch in and start working on our programming. So even if you once you enter into any real-time project, once you enter into any of the company and if you start working on any of the project, obviously as an automation engineer they would be developing or they would be executing their scripts in certain frameworks. Okay, in certain frameworks, like there are few frameworks in the industry, but if you have exposure on any one of the framework, it is not easy for you to to cope up with another framework. It will not take more than a week. That is what I believe, because more or less the concepts and the logics would be the same, but the way we written it is something different, right? So ultimately the end goal would be the same, but the way we written it is something different. That thing you can learn um, in just a week of time, since you already have exposure on how the framework would be built and how the framework is organized, and the you will be having the exposure on the architecture about the framework, right? So it is not a big deal for you to go on with those things.
And are you going to teach the how to push the code and all these things in the Selenium?
Yeah, that is with respect to Git repository.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I will be showing that part as well. Like um, if we made certain changes in the code locally, then how we can push that particular code to Git repository, and if we want to get the code from the Git repository, so how we would be cloning the code from the Git repository. So there are certain Git commands, right? So there
Mm-hmm.
are certain Git commands we would be using on on a daily basis. So that part also I would be covering.
Okay.
Um, so any more questions from anyone before we start off with like the first topic? Shall I move on? Yeah. Okay. So let me start off uh, with one of the topics today. Yeah. So guys, here, like in any IT industry, like if you go to any IT industry, so if you are working on any of the project, so we will be having like couple of things, guys. Okay, so you might have listened that there would be developers, there would be testers, something like that, correct? So, so there would be developers and there would be testers, and apart from that, uh, we would be having like the BAs as well. Okay. So first, since as a tester in some of the companies, our team would be called as a QA team. Okay, our team is called as a QA team. Like QA is nothing but the quality assurance team. So in some companies we would be referring as a QA/TA team, which is nothing but like quality assurance and test automation. So why we have got two names here means quality assurance and test automation means this team would be the combination of manual testers and the automation testers. Okay, so collectively the team's name might be they refer as like QA/TA. So if they call as quality assurance team also, it, this team also might be the combination of both like manual testers and the automation testers. But again, that would be like the way the way they refer our team would be the slight different. So in some companies it would be called as QA team, QA/TA, or test team, or separately functional team and automation team. Like that we'll be having like the departments, functional team and automation team. So like that they are going to refer us. So now and for the developers they would be referring as like a dev team simply. Okay. Dev team or the development team, something like that. So now, what are the roles and responsibilities of these teams? Means, so for example, if we are working on any project, so let me consider like one of the sites here. Okay. So let me consider this particular site. So arden.ac.uk. So the moment you see the URL here, so the Arden is nothing but the university name. Okay, so Arden is one of the universities. It is one of the renowned universities in United Kingdom, right? So what does this domain name AC stands for? Does anyone have any idea? AC. So basically AC is nothing but it depicts that means this is an academic site. Okay, this is an academic site. Dot UK. How about UK? What does it mean?
Country name.
Sorry,
Country name.
it's a country name. So that means this site tells us that so Arden is nothing but a university. Since it is an academic site, it is an academic site which operates its like functionals in United Kingdom. So that is what it means. So so this one basically we call it as a domain name. Okay. So basically we call it as a domain name. So AC stands for academic, UK is nothing but the country name. So you might be seeing some of these sites like .com. So which is nothing but it's a commercial site. Okay, commercial site. So you might have seen like this one also. Like this is one of the e-commerce sites which operates its functionalities in IN stands for our country name, which is India, right? So apart from that, you might have seen some of these URLs like gov.in. It is nothing but a government site, right? Government site which operates in India. So like this, the domain name gives us some sort of information. So since we are considering this particular thing here, Arden is one of the university name. It is an academic site which is in US. Okay, so now what are the roles of these three particular teams, like developers, testers, and the BAs means? So the first thing is the first thing be coming into picture is nothing but the BAs, right? So BAs are nothing but the business analysts. Okay, so BAs are the business analysts. So these people, so what the BAs will exactly do here is, so they will be getting the, so let's say now this particular site is in live. Okay, this particular site is now available for the user, but before the development of his site, let's say uh, this site is currently not in live, right? Not in live. So before this particular site comes to live, what will happen in the background means, so the first, Arden people. So Arden is a university. So these university people will uh, they want to have their own site. Okay, so before they are having their own site, so they have to have their own site, right? So for that particular site, in order to develop their site, they will depend on one of the software companies. Okay, they will depend on a software companies. So software companies, like any service based company, so they will make an MOU with any of the service based software company, whether it is like TCS or Infosys or Wipro or whatever the software company. So they will make an MOU with those software companies. Is anyone aware of like MOU? Like it's a kind of memorandum of understanding. It is a kind of legal agreement between these two things, guys. Okay, so ardent people will tie up with certain software company, which, so now let's say Arden has made an MOU with TCS. That means, so TCS people has to develop they have to uh, develop this particular thing, this particular site. Okay, they have to develop this particular site and make it ready for the Arden people. So now Arden university site people will be the client for TCS. Okay, so those people will be the client for TCS now. So what they will do, so as a client they will be providing the requirements to the TCS project team. So for example, in TCS project team, now again we'll be having like the BAs, developers, and the testers. So let's say it is a combination of some people which is having BAs, developers, and the testers. So now what the BAs will do, so the BAs will gather the requirements. BAs will gather the requirements from clients. Okay. So here clients are nothing but the Arden University side people. So they will gather the requirements. So what kind of requirements they will gather means, so like they need to have like find a course button here. So this is an home page. This is the home page of this particular site. They, on the home page of the application, they need to have like the find a course button, apply today button, and some of the menus over here, right? And this is an image. So the moment you click on find a course button, it has to redirect to this particular search course screen. So in this particular course screen, you can search for like any of the course, like business and management course. As a student, I have searched for business and management course. So all of the courses which comes under this domain, business and management. Okay, so those are being displayed. So BA honors business management, BA honors business management with foundation here, and MBA, right? Executive MBA. So these all courses are something which comes under this common course. Okay, so this particular all of these things are being displayed. So this inputs BAs will gather from the like clients and okay. So let's say BAs have gathered this particular information from the clients. So now So dev will gather this particular requirement. Dev will gather this particular requirement from the BAs. Okay, BAs, and then so once they got the requirement from BAs, they will use certain technologies. Okay, by using their technologies, they'll go ahead and start developing the application. So based on the requirement provided by BS, they will go ahead and start developing the application. That is nothing but they'll start writing the code. Okay, they'll start writing the code. They use certain technologies. So what are the technologies they are going to use? So we'll see. Okay. So now the role of a BS is to gather the requirements from the clients. The role of a developer is to understand the requirement from the clients and start working on the application. Now after once the developer finishes developing his application, now the testers will come into picture. So testers are nothing but our department, QA. Our role comes into picture. So what we need to do, whatever the developer has developed the application, we need to test it, right? Test the application. So that means, for example, let's say, let's assume that developer has uh, developed one of the flow. The flow is, so let's say we are on the home page. So we are on the home page now. So developer has worked on this particular building this UI. And let's say if we click on find a course, so again, same thing. So here this flow speaks about, guys, this flow speaks about finding a course and speaking to an advisor. Why do we have to speak to an advisor means? So for example, when we are trying to opt for any new when we are trying to opt for as a student, if you want to opt for any of the course in certain university, so what are the things, guys, you will be focusing on? So let's say you want to pursue one of the course in a university. So what are the things you want to uh, what is the information you need about that particular course? Yes, one thing is like duration of the course, right? One thing is about duration of the course. So next thing is about fee, right? And career options. Like after that, once we pursue or once we complete this particular course in that university, so do we get any job opportunities after that? Like that, we'll be making an inquiry of that particular course. Let's say as a student, I'm pursuing like MBA. Okay, I'm pursuing like MBA. So I want to click on view course here. Okay. So here I have like high level information that it's a postgraduate course and the word name is MBA. So part-time 1+ year and full-time 1 year. So these are the locations which they are offering, like London, Berlin, or online. So these are the three things. But I want to speak to an advisor to understand and to get information more about this course, like on which particular days this course would be taught and what are the career options and what is the fee related to this particular course. So for that, I would be clicking on like speak to an advisor button. So the moment I click on speak to an advisor, I got a form, right? With all these details like first name, last name, email, country, location of interest. So that means basically our bio, like our basic information. So we will be providing all of this information and click on call me button. So the moment we click on call me button, our information will go and sit in there, like our information will reach to their end and they will be calling us. So directly we'll get a call in on the same day or the very next day. But definitely, since this application is live now, it is available to the users now. So this is now these details will go and sit in their database, and we'll be getting, as a user, we will be getting a call from their end, from the Arden University people. So we can check with them about this course. Like we can ask any questions. We can get all the info related to this particular course and get it clarified. Okay, so get it clarified. So let's say developers has built this particular flow. Okay, so now as a tester, what we would be doing from our end means, as a tester, what we would be doing from our end means, we would be checking whether this particular flow is working correctly or not. Okay, working correctly or not. That means so let's say we are in this particular page, search course page. Okay, so here we are selecting MBA. So the moment we click on view course, here also it is displaying MBA. So these are the validation rules, whether like whatever the course name we have selected in the previous page, whether the same course name is displaying here or not. And also, if I click on speak to an advisor, the same course name is displaying here or not. So this is one of the validation. As a QA, we need to concentrate on these validation rules. Okay, so this is one validation. So if now I'm selecting BA honors. Okay, so if I selected BA honors, here it is dynamically changing. Here it is pulling the same BA honors. And similarly, if I click on speak to an advisor, here it is showing now the business management. Okay, like earlier it showed MBA because we have selected MBA, right? So this is one of the validation point. So as a QA, we would be testing these flows. Okay. As a QA, we would be testing these flows. And also here, this on this particular form, for some of the fields you are seeing stars, and for some fields you didn't see the stars here. So what is the actual meaning of that particular star asterisk symbol, guys? What is the main?
To fill the
Mandatory.
requirement.
It's a mandatory field, right? So that means
Yeah.
we need to enter something. We need to enter some information under this particular field. So as a tester, we would be testing whether, like for example, now I am not entering the first name. Okay, so I am entering my last name. So I'm entering my email. I'm entering my country. I'm selecting my location of interest. So I'm providing my contact number here. So I'm entering all these details. Okay, so but I'm not entering one of the mandatory field, which is the first name, and I'm trying to click on call me button. So it is not allowing, and it is not taking me to the next screen because here I haven't entered like my first name. So let me enter my first name here, which is Joe. Okay, so now I have filled all these details, and the moment I click on call me button, right, it is going to take me to the next screen, which is, so here you can read it. Callback request sent. Okay, thank you for requesting a callback. A member of our dedicated support team will be in touch shortly. That means we will be getting a call, since we have provided the first basic details, and we provided the mobile number as well, right, in the previous screen on that particular previous form. So based on the mobile number, mobile information we have provided, they will be calling us. They will be directly calling us. One of the advisor from the university team will call us, and we can check with them with respect to all the details. So the moment we click on close message, that particular close message dialog box would be closed. So this is one of the flow, guys, right? So this flow is to make an inquiry and speak to an advisor of any of the course we want to pursue in this particular thing. So these are the some of the validations. Okay, these are the one of the some of the validation activities we need to check, right? So as a tester, we would be doing all of these, like whether the mandatory fields are working or not, whether the course name is displaying on certain page or not. And here also, if you see here, course name, if I search like any of the course name, business and management, and the moment I click on the search button, whether it is displaying all the courses related to business and management or not, so that part also, like whether this basically the search filter is working fine or not, we'll test that. Okay, so I will show you one thing here. So instead of A and D, I will be giving ampersand symbol and trying to click on search here. Okay, the moment I try to click on search here, somehow this ampersand symbol, this is an ampersand symbol, okay, and we usually call it as and, but its particular name is ampersand. Okay, so in place of this ampersand, somehow we have got amp, right? Somehow we have got amp and semicolon by default, and it's shown as like showing zero results for business, ampersand symbol, amp, semicolon, management within the courses. So we have got this irrelevant thing which is not right. So basically we call it as a bug in the application. Okay, because some students might also search like this, right? They will put an ampersand symbol and they'll click on search, but it is not displaying any of the related courses. So then this is an issue, this is a defect, this is a bug in the application, right? We call it a defect, or we call it as a bug, we call it a issue in the application. So immediately we are going to report it to the developer, because developer is the person who is actually working on the code. So he is the person who actually designed this search filter. So as a tester, we have tested it. Somehow we found that search filter is not designed in a proper way. It is breaking when we enter the test data like this. When we enter the course name using the ampersand symbol, it is not showing us the proper related course names. So this is a one of the issue in the application. So as a tester, the major goal of a tester is to find the bugs in the application, just like this one, just like this one. Okay, clear guys? Like, are you trying to get what I am trying to say? Team, clear everyone, or do you have any questions or doubts here? Okay, so if you do not have any doubts, so this is with respect to roles and responsibilities, guys. So on a daily basis, as a tester, we would be interacting with the dev teams, and we would be interacting with the BA teams. So that is the reason. That is the reason these three teams are important. So as a tester, we need to understand about those teams as well. We need to have some idea about those teams as well. So that is with respect to like about QATA, dev and BA teams. Now let's talk about some of the tools. Okay, so since as a developer, they are working on developing the applications. So in order to develop the applications, they will be writing the code, correct? They will be writing the code. So in order to write the code, okay, they have certain things. So under the so for a developer, we have certain things you might have heard, because some of your friends or some of your relatives or some of your neighbors, they would be working as a developer, okay, in certain companies. So developers would be like, there are You might have heard about these things: front-end developers, okay, front-end developers, back-end developers, back-end developers, like middleware developers, and you might have a full stack developers, right? And also these days, some new things are coming into picture: mean stack developers, mean stack developers. So now, so developers will be like front-end developers, back-end developers, right? Middleware. So, or full stack. So full stack developers are nothing but front-end plus back-end. Who can do both the things? Okay. Who can do both the things? A developer who is having the knowledge on all of these. Okay. So front-end developers are nothing but they work on UI. Front-end, or we can call them as a UI developer. UI is nothing but a user interface. UI is nothing but a user interface. So here, front-end developer will work on certain technologies called HTML, okay, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. So these all are something related to the UI technologies. Okay. So backend developers. So backend can be built based on Java and the JSP, Java server pages, and Python. We can use Python programming also for backend development, and uh, like servlets. They would be using like the servlets for backend programming, and uh, Spring Boot. So this is one of the framework they might be using. So Spring Boot, Ruby on Rails, okay, Ruby on Rails, Groovy. So these are the certain tools which they are going to use for the backend developer. These are the technologies. So as a tester, we doesn't have to learn all of these technologies, guys. But as a tester, since we would be interacting with the development team on a daily basis, we need to have like the minimal idea of what exactly is a front-end developer means, what exactly means back-end developer means. Like that, we need to have like a minimal idea. Okay. So middleware developers are someone who would be working on some kind of like MuleSoft middleware applications such as MuleSoft. Okay. So full stack developer, nowadays full stack developers are having the full craze because they are the people like who has the knowledge on all of these front end and back end technologies. So full stack developers has the knowledge on front end and back end. So that is the reason they have like demand in the market. So nowadays mean stack developers, okay, what I mean stack developers. What exactly is mean stack developer means? You might have heard about certain technologies. So M stands for MongoDB, okay. E stands for ExpressJS. A stands for, any guesses, guys? A stands for AngularJS. N stands for Node.js. Okay. So mean stack developers are the people who are having the knowledge on these four technologies: MongoDB, ExpressJS, AngularJS, Node.js. So this will cover everything like UI, backend, and the database. UI, backend, and the database. So Angular is a kind of they would be using for the UI, Node they would be using for backend, Express as a middleware, MongoDB as a database. So for now, the people who are working on these four technologies. Uh, Team, can you hear me now? Can you see my screen? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. because I have got some power issue. So you are able to see my screen, right? You can see the notepad,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah. Thanks
Yes.
for confirming. Yeah. Thanks again for confirming. So these are the tools and technologies that developers would be doing in order to like develop their applications. So this is from their end. So now moving on to testers. Okay. So moving on to testers. As a tester, so we have couple of things here. So manual testers, automation testers, and the performance testers. Manual testers, they will not be using any of the code, any of the technologies, any of the tools. They will simply go ahead and they will simply go ahead and test the application by navigating to the screens, just like how we have seen the end-to-end flow. Okay. But as an automation people, we have certain tools in order to automate our web applications. So one is UFT, the other one is like Selenium, and nowadays Tosca is also coming into picture. You might have heard about these different technologies. Okay, so automation testers will be working on these technologies. So UFT is something. It's an old tool. So nowadays, very it is called as a legacy tool. So legacy is nothing but an old. Okay,
And I heard about one tool, SAP.
like SAP is not an automation tool. Okay, SAP
Okay.
is basically not an automation tool. So I will tell you about SAP, Oracle, Salesforce. Okay, so yeah, you have raised a good point here. Salesforce, SAP, and the Oracle. Okay, so these are not the tools. These I will call it as an applications. Okay, or applications are a platforms. Applications or platforms. That means you might be getting a chance to work on Salesforce application, SAP applications, Oracle applications. So these are not the like not the automation tools. Those are the applications, or we can simply call it as a platform. So we can automate Salesforce application using Selenium, and also we can automate Salesforce application, SAP application using Selenium, Oracle application also using Selenium. So basically, any web application we can automate using Selenium. So one good thing about Selenium is it's a free tool. It's a free tool. Now most of the people are using like Selenium, and more importantly, Selenium always, as I told you, Selenium always goes with one of the programming languages. The programming language would be like Java or Python or the C sharp. Okay, C sharp. But almost 70 to 80% of the clients would be using Selenium along with Java only, since Java is also a free tool. Okay, uh, so it is free tool is nothing but it's an open source. Free tool is nothing but it's an open source tool. That means we can directly download it from the web, and we can configure it in our Eclipse, and then we can start working or start using Selenium. So that is the important. So one thing you doesn't have to bother about is, guys, so even if you learn Java, and once you enter into organization, if you get a chance to work on Python, I mean as I told you, almost 70 to 80% of the clients would be using Selenium along, preferably Selenium will be using with Java only, but in certain projects they would be using Python and C sharp as well. You doesn't have to worry about the languages here, because the one good thing is about the languages is the logics would be the same, but the syntax would be different. There is some understand, you need to understand the difference between the logic and syntax. So the moment we start Java, you'll understand what exactly mean by logic and what exactly is mean by syntax. Okay, So the logics would be the same. The end goal would be the same. Okay. What are the things what we can achieve using Java, we can achieve with Python also, and same with the C sharp. But the way we write the code, basically called as a syntax. The syntax is different. Rest of the things would be the same, right? Rest of the things would be the same. So here, and nowadays Tosca is also coming into picture. So it is not a free tool, it is a licensed tool. Okay. So if you start working on Tosca, you doesn't have to work on the script. It's a scriptless tool. You doesn't have to learn coding for Tosca, but it is okay. So if anyone is using Tosca, they need to pay per month or pay per quarter. Since you are using that tool, you need to pay to that Tricentis. So Tosca is developed by the Tricentis team. So you need to pay to this company, to this organization, since you are using Tosca. So that is the reason. Since it is a licensed tool, the usage is less. But nowadays, some people are using Tosca as well. It is completely scriptless tool. You doesn't have to learn any technology for that. But you will have less opportunities if you learn Tosca. So as if you want to start your career as an automation tester, it is always a good to opt for like Selenium with Java, because in IT industry you will be having the future if you have the knowledge on code. That's it. So if you are working on the coding side, then only you will be having the future. If you are not working, if you are simply working on common tools, so you will not be having, like, you are not mastered in coding, then you will be not having any future, because someone can might replace you in a very short term. If you are not working on the coding part, anyone can replace you, because anyone can learn that easily. But if you are into coding, so coding will be like tough for some of the people, right? So uh, so that is the impact of the coding in IT industry, right? If you have a good knowledge on coding, it is hard for your team to replace you. Okay. So now these are the tools like UFT, Selenium, and Tosca would be used by tools. So we'll finish our session in another 5 minutes, guys. You doesn't have to worry. So performance tester. So I will tell you one brief thing about the performance. So performance testing is nothing but, if you see our Flipkart or Amazon, so why the performance testing is important means, if you see Flipkart or Amazon, so on some Amazon Great Indian Festivals or during festival times, the people who are accessing those applications would be huge, right? Would be the huge. That means uh, everyone, like most of the people, like thousands of people at a time, thousands of people, or sometimes even lakhs of people would be trying to use the Amazon site or Flipkart site during the festival season. So during the time, the load, right? The load on the application might increase. So the performance tester will do the load test. That means if thousands or lakhs of people are using the application at a time, it should not, it should not behave in a different way. It should behave as is, right? It should load properly. So these kind of things would be taken care by the performance tester. So load runner, neo load, Jmeter, right? Jmeter. So these are the tools that performance testers, performance test engineers will be using in order to test the load performance of the application. In order to do the load test and in order to test the application performance, they would be using these tools. Okay. So, but as part of our course, as we discussed, we would be talking about manual testing and then core Java and Selenium. The reason we are talking about these things is to, since you are trying to get into the IT industry, it is always a good practice to understand about the other teams as well. Like we need to have the minimum knowledge on what exactly the other teams are looking up for and what exactly the other teams are working on. Okay. So any questions, guys, so far? Like, guys, any questions from anyone?
Class timing same for every day. For demo session only this timing continues.
Uh, like it would be the same, but again, like I will check with our teammates and I will come back. Okay. So it would most probably the class timings would be the same from 7:30 to 8:30. But if there is
Okay,
any
thanks.
change in the timings, yeah, I will definitely let you know. So like one more thing guys, like if you want to opt for this course and if you want to continue with the sessions, or you if you want to continue with our sessions from tomorrow, you can contact you can contact any of the admins from the WhatsApp group. You can ping them and you can register for a course. And you want to do like any payments, or if you want to contact anyone, you can check with this number as well. Like this is Kumar sir's number, so you can contact this person and you can directly register for this course as well. Okay,
Okay, sir,
so
thanks.
this is with respect to like our demo session. So any questions before we wrap up for today?
I have one question. If we just want to
Yes.
do the automation testing, because
Mhm.
I know about the manual testing and core Java, so is there any possibility, because you are saying that's only 20 lessons on the automation testing, right? So
Yeah.
because this is 50 hours class and only 20 hours are completing, you are doing automation testing.
Yeah, the point here is, since like, so here 20 days in the sense here we are learning core Java. So automation never, so in order to learn the Selenium, you must have a knowledge on core Java. So you doesn't have to think that only like Selenium is covering 20 days, but where we are starting core Java, so that is where our automation will actually start, because the programming language is very important. If you do not have the knowledge on programming language, if we go and talk about automation for even 30 or 40 days also, you will not get the things easily, because the language is having that much command on that much impact and command on the automation part. So that means I would say your core Java part means you are actually learning the prerequisite concepts of the automation. So it is not about Selenium. It is not about automation. We are discussing about 20 days, but these 25 to 30 days, which we are talking about core Java, that is really important, because automation never goes without the language. Automation should definitely have the language. As I told you, if you get like if interviewer ask you like 20 questions, if you are if you are trying to switch to an automation position, if they ask you 20 questions, so 10 to 12 questions will be on the language itself, because language more speaks about the logics and all those things, right? So that means your your automation prerequisite concepts will unofficially begin from the day 11 only. That means on the day one of core Java only. So that is the clarification I want to give.
Okay. And what if the person have the knowledge of Java language?
Sorry.
If the person have knowledge about the Java language, the coding language, so
Okay. Because this like, yeah, if a person is having the knowledge on coding, they can directly go ahead and start like Selenium. But this course has been designed in such a way that it's a combo course, right? So like as I already mentioned on this particular site, so manual and test automation with Selenium Java. So definitely like we need to cover all of those mentioned.
Okay.
Like
And
because
are you going to give us any kind of assignment at the end of the day? Like this is the demo session, so you are not going to give any assignment or something like that. So
yes,
what we will means whatever assignment are you going to give?
like whatever the topics we are going to discuss on a daily basis. Let's say today we speak about like operators. So whatever we are discussing here, like that, I would be providing you some sort of programs for your practice purpose. And if we talk about like looping statement, so if we uh, after like conditional control statements or looping statements, then I will be giving you like some sort of programs on a daily basis. And when it comes to automation also, like I will be giving some of the flows for you to automate on a daily basis. So definitely it is not like you'll listen for an 1 hour and you will skip the rest of the day. And of course you have to like at least work for around 2 hours after this course. So that kind of uh, things you will be having,
And
right?
when you teach Selenium, that time are you going to using any demo project or we just have to use any random project?
Yeah. So when I'm talking about like the Selenium, so I will have like a like one application. So basically, I will be automating this application only. Whatever the flows I am showing you right now, I would be showing you that automation. Okay,
Hmm.
I will be showing you that particular automation. And initially, I start off with without using the framework, because if you if I directly start off with framework, then uh, you will not understand the difference between without you will not understand the importance of a framework. Okay, so I will teach you. So if you see here, I will automate. If you see here, I will automate one of the flow without actually using the framework. So during this stage, when we are trying to automate the flow of a speak to an advisor, during this stage, we will be learning about like different locators, XPaths. So these kind of things. This flow, initially, I would be designing without the framework. And then if you see here, the course 50. So here I'm trying to integrate the test case, whatever the test case that has designed without using the framework. I will try to so we are going to learn about how we can integrate that particular thing using the framework. So with this, you will understand the difference between automating the test case without using a framework and automating the test case by using a framework. So with that, you will understand the importance of a framework. Okay,
Okay.
so that is the reason. Like here, we would be discussing without using a framework and with using the framework as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions from anyone, guys? Or are we good to wrap up today's session?
Class will be on Saturday and Sunday.
Saturdays and Sundays, no. It would be from like Monday to Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more questions, guys, from anyone?